Hey, one quick question before Pritesh joins. The governance issue sheet 65 that you were asking Nias to comment, I think Nias has already commented about the governance policy when a candidate with lot of industry experience is exiting, then that person can nominate the replacement. That's what he has put in. What is that you're expecting him to add more comments on that?
That one is that is meaning related to Nia's comment.
Yeah, that is Nia's comment. You said
Yeah,
Nia's to comment on 65. That is his last comment on that.
yeah,
So,
that's the comment.
okay.
So yeah, based on current governance document, uh, the org maintainers should be elected from the sub-project maintainer. So that's the reason that after David nominate James, Toddy, I and also Fabian comment on some suggestions that James can take in order to to be eligible to be selected as org maintainers. Then Nias provided a comment with a different opinion. So that's the reason that we needed to have Nias to to see any other or any actions he will take for the governance document.
Based on the government's document, you're telling the comment has to be.
Yeah, if he is agree with the current governance documents, then probably the next step for James is to become a sub-project maintainer first. Then later we can vote again for org maintainers after some time.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, did you check this with Nias? I also saw Nias reviewed some governance related PRs that I created.
Yes, he did. He was not sure what he was supposed to review on this. So that's the reason I was asking that question. I did not have the answer as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it is mainly about the last comments that Nias provided on that PR.
Yeah.
So I think so. If he agree with current governance document, as I explained, to become a
Mm.
sub project first, then later we vote for org maintainers. I think he can just comment on this issue so that we can get alignment on this. And so I did not join the Thursday meeting, so I'm not sure whether we discussed this with Docker folks on this nomination.
Sorry, what is the topic, E?
The topic about the issue that David wrote for nominate James to replace Justin.
What we discussed is that, anyways, it's already, what, 4 months in. I think, so James was not on the meeting on Thursday. David and I, we discussed that they're okay until like we have enough tenure for James, so we can propose him as a org maintainer. So I think that was my takeaway from Thursday's meeting. But as I said, so James was not there. It was only David, myself, and Akash, and we concentrated on our discussion, other discussions.
Okay. So will David bring back this with James?
I do not know, so I can I can ping James and ask him.
Yeah, so Yeah,
In
according
general,
to,
I think that the question here is, can we clarify this in the governance, what exactly the process will be? Because right now the problem is that we don't have this clearly in the governance, and according to the current governance documents, James cannot be maintainer, and that is the state that we are in right now. So James eventually can become a maintainer. Now that actually I believe he's on one of the repositories maintainer, so we can go and propose him. But what is the wait period? Does he need to be maintainer for like certain period of time? That's still not clear from the governance. So in general, the governance is not very clear. How do we select maintainers? So we should clear the governance, and once we do that, we can figure out what the next steps are.
Toddy, you mentioned that James is one of the maintainer of one sub-project. Which sub-project? I didn't remember.
I believe he's on the .github repository.
Not yet. I just checked the maintenance file, and let me check the code owners. Not yet. We didn't do that nomination, I think.
Okay, then the question is, can we nominate David and James for at least one of the repositories? Because they've been pretty active for the last 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, this is also related to one of my PR about the contributor letter. So I think currently James is contributing in the Notary project. Based on my PR, then he can be nominated by another contributor for being an organization member. Then after that, we can nominate by other sub-project maintainers for him to be, for example, .github maintainer. Then after that, we can vote again for org maintainer. So that's the proposal I created in the contributor letter. So I think he currently he is not an organization member as well. So I think he is being quite active in recently. So maybe the first step is that we can nominate him as a organization member. So I have that PR to list how to describe how a user can become an org maintainer through the steps. So maybe you can also take a look. I have that PR in the agenda. I paste the link here.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyone who wants to contribute in the Notary project community can follow this letter. Sorry. Okay, let me anyway, let me share my screen for the agenda. Yeah, today, as you can see, we have a few items. And we just talked about the first one to review the contributor letter PR. So please, especially org maintainers, please take a look. And we have that 4 other topics. I think the first one and this I think especially the first one we need Pradesh. Sajay, sorry, Shui, Patrick, do you think so? Patrick, this the first topic will be presented by you. Do you think we need Pradesh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think since Toddy Saji also joined, maybe Patrick, you can also give a brief introduction about the background of these changes, so that Toddy, Saji, and Wani can have some ideas on this, and for some details, maybe we can wait later for Pritesh.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen.
Thanks.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so we are proposing for a version 1.1 trust policy for notation with support of timestamp counter-signature verification. So the only difference between version 1.1 and 1.0 is that we added this term named timestamp verification. And we can discuss the naming later, but yeah. So the new term is called timestamp verification now, and it has two options for the user. The first one is enabled. It's default to false due to backward compatibility, because when you are using a version 1.0 and the new notation, the default is still false for timestamp verification. So for backward compatible, we'd like to set this term as false as default. And for the second one, expiry relaxed. As you may know, there will be two certificate chains during timestamping verification. One is the code signing certificate chain, and the other one is the TSA certificate chain. During timestamp verification, the TSA certificate chain may also expire at the time of verification. We've seen that many well-known TSA are having short-lived TSA leaf certs. For example, maybe 2 months or less than a year. So to make their timestamped counter signature to work, we need to provide an option for the user to choose whether we should relax the expiry check of those TSA certificate chain. By relax, we mean when user change this value to true, the TSA certificate chain will be verified, the expiry will be verified at the time point being stamped. We are not skipping the expiration here. It's just checking the expiry at the time point being stamped. As a quick demo, I have a OSI image that's signed with a timestamp signature, and the co-signing certificate chain itself has already been expired. So with this timestamp signature, we are still able to verify this image. So as you can see, the verification is successful and the timestamp token time range is being checked. And this is the trust policy that's being used in this verification. And let me show the let me disable the timestamp verification feature and verify this again. So it says the verification failed because the code signing certificate has expired. Do you have any comments, suggestions, questions?
It's cool, Patrick.
Thanks, Sergey.
Oh, no questions, Patrick. No questions.
Yeah, Patrick, I have
Answer
a
these.
question.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead, Tom.
how do I specify which timestamp authority to use?
A good question. So it's defined in the trust store. As you can see, my demo is using TSA DigiCert. It's a third-party free TSA. So it's defined by the trust store. User needs to specify TSA as the trust store type, and the TSA name as the trust store name, and put the TSA's root certificate into that trust store.
Here is my question. If I, for example, have one CA linked to a certain TSA, I don't have the way right now to say, let's say, the test TSA, CA, and the TSA of DigiCert are the one that should be matched, because I'm trying to think whether that can be exploited somehow in the sense that
They don't have to be matched. Actually, I can have one CA here and multiple TSAs. And the matching is being done by the verification workflow by notation. So suppose the signer used DigiCert as to sign the signature, to create a signature. During verification, if DigiCert is not in this trust store list, the verification would be failed.
Okay. So we don't need to do a one-to-one mapping to like trust or I mean CA to TSA.
No,
As
no.
long as it's available in the trust store and in the signature itself says that the DigiCert is the one that actually provide the timestamp, that should be
Correct.
fine.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I think Shui has his
yeah.
hand.
Yes, thanks. Hi, Patrick. I think Tony's question is about this. So currently we have trusted identities for the trust stores of type CA, right? So do we need any trust identities for the TSA type? I don't think the trust identities can be shared across different types of trust stores, right?
Let's take a look at the definition of trust identities. I don't think so.
Did we lose Patrick or?
Patrick, are you checking something?
Yeah. Oh, you can't see the screen?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
What we can see, what I can see is the VS Code.
oh. How do I share the
Maybe try resharing because might have frozen.
share the whole screen? Can you see this? Can you see the screen now?
Yeah, I can see it's yeah, it's web page. Yeah,
Can you see the trust policy web page?
yes.
Okay, cool. So
I think the question here is if you don't use the star in the trusted identities, like, can we have an example how that will work? Is that correct, Shiwei?
Yes, that's right.
yeah. So
And I have
one
a related question, sorry, Patrick. The related question is if we have other types of identities in the future, and actually I think we do have right now the ARN from AWS, but let's say in the future we have OIDC, right? And if you are more explicit, how do you
yeah, I think
specify?
that's so I'm saying that trust identity is not restricted to CA type certificates. So that means any TSA certificates also needs to be added into trust identities.
And then the identity will be ambiguous. It's not secure. For example, we have trust identity A. What if the A we can build a certificate chain in the CA type, but it should work. But it actually should belong to a TSA type. So that's possible, right? But the identity is supposed to have the certain type. For example, just let me reintroduce the example here. Okay, so we have an identity A. The A has a TSA certificate, and we have the CA certificate for that identity in the TSA type trust store, right? And later you add a CA type of root cert in the trust store. Somehow the CA in the CA trust store also gave a certificate to the identity of the identity A. So now A can both sign stuffs or timestamp stuffs. But in our policy, we should only allow it to timestamp stuffs instead of signing stuffs. But here we cannot distinguish them, right?
We are talking about roosters, right? So we when we do verification, we have a chain. We start from the leaf to the root, and according to the timestamp RFC, that a timestamping leaf certificate will have the extended key usage field seen in timestamping. So even if the TSA certificate chain is traced back to a maybe wrong root cert, but if the leaf cert doesn't have the timestamping extended key usage, the verification will still be failed.
Okay, I see. What about the other way? For example, a cert of a CA type can't be used for the timestamping as signal, right? Because it does not have a timestamping key usage.
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Okay. Just let me think about it.
Mhm.
Patrick, I have one question. So actually,
Yeah.
in trusted identities, the current we have X509 subjects, right? So this is the subject DN of the signing certificates that user want to trust, right? However, for the TSA, I mean, for the timestamp signature, do we need to specify what subject DN of the TSA leave certificate that we want to trust?
No, it's about the root subject, the subject of the root certificate. So during
You mean for TSA?
for TSA, yes. So during verification, the user only needs to have the root certificate of the TSA. They don't have to download the intermediate or the signing certificate from, for example, online.
Yeah,
Those
that's
certificates
true.
are already in the timestamp token.
Yeah, that's true. The similar for the CA store, right? The CA store only store the root CA certificate.
Yes.
And
The root
trust,
certificate is the trust anchor of the verification workflow.
Yeah, I mean, for the CA type, right? We also do not require user to download the leave certificate, right? We just need the user to specify the subject DN of the leave certificate. So my question is, do we need a user to specify the subject DN of the leave certificate of the TSA in trust identities? That means we trust this TSA certificate. We trust this subject DN, and it was signed by the root say certificate stored in the TSA store. Yeah, I'm reading comments from Shui.
Yeah, suppose there's identity A. A has two sets. One from a CA in a CA store, and then another from a CA in a TSA store. So both sets have the right KU and EKU. So basically, they can pass all the verifications. So the question is, how can the verifier only allow A as a TSA?
How can the verifier allow A as a TSA only, right?
That's right.
They configure the trust policy. Like they only put A behind TSA here. They never put it behind CA.
But what if A applies a certificate from the tester TSA? It's possible, right?
If the verifier don't want
And
to trust A as a CA, why would they put A behind CA here?
because maybe they want to trust another identity B, which is issued by the tester TSA. it's not controlled by the verifier, right? How the CA issues certificate to different identities.
So Shui, your question is the same root, say, can issue, can sign code sign certificate and also sign TSA certificate. Do you mean that?
For example, okay, just let me give a concrete example. So, for example, I have identity, for example, organization of a consulting company. The company applies a certificate from both CAs, like this one, the tested TSA and also the DigiCert TSA. So basically, it got two valid certs, and thus because we want to verify it as a TSA cert, so we put identity the consulting company in the trusted identities. There's another company maybe called WebRocket. WebRocket have applied a cert in the from the test TSA. So the test TSA grant the issued issued a certificate to the WebRocket, and thus we put the WebRocket identity in the trusted identities. Now we got problem. So what if the consensus company signs a signature and pass it to the verifier? Will it pass? I think it will pass, right? But because the roots it has a cert that can be traced to the CA the trusted CA store. But what if the verifier don't want it as a signer, a signature signer, but only as a TSA? How the verifier can do that?
So are you asking for different scopes, like for TSA, cert, CA, and the code signing CAs to be specified explicitly?
Yes, that's right. Otherwise, it's ambiguous because you cannot say this identity is for the CA or this identity is for the TSA. If we put identity there, that's for both. I think we lost Patrick.
Yeah. Yeah, let's wait for Patrick to be back, then we can maybe summarize it and see what's the next step.
Sorry, my Zoom just crashed. Let me share again.
Okay.
So in that case, the verifier should just put the trust source behind TSA, right? Why would they put it behind CA? Because they don't want to trust it as a CA. They only want to use the trust source as a TSA.
But how can you do that? Because both type of CAs issue certificate to the same identity. So basically, the proposal here is that the trust entities should be associated with a trusted type. Otherwise, the identity can be referred to a identity in a CA type or in a TSA type or both. And the verifier cannot use the policy to distinguish them.
Does that mean we need in current trust policy, when users specify the value for trust identities, they specify x509.subject, right? But that is common for both CA type and the TSA type, right? So should we have another type so that it can be distinguished? For this kind of subject DN, it is for the TSA, and it can be chained up to the root CA certificate stored in the TSA store. For another identity, it can be chained up to the root CA certificate stored in the CA type. So we may need another another format in trusted identities for the TSA. One more question for TSA. Sorry, Shui.
Is that a question for me or for Patrick?
Yeah, what I just summarized is we may need another format in trust identities to distinguish the identity between CA type and the TSA type, because they are all the type of X509, right? We need a way to distinguish between them. Yeah, this is a question we can discuss later. Actually, I have another question for TSA. Because I'm a signer, right? During signing, I specify the TSA server address, and then from a verifier, how can the verifier get to know the identity, the identity of the leave certificate of TSA? So normally it is the root CA certificate. From verifier point of view, they can download it from somewhere, right? How about I'm not sure for the subject DN of the sign certificate of the TSA. How can the verifier get it?
For the verifier of notation,
Yeah. So
from my
how about
experience on the free TSAs out there, they are not posting the leave certificate on their website to download. So for verifier of the notation, they really don't have a way to get the certificate easily. They have to parse the signature envelope and the timestamp token to get the signing certificate.
Mm.
But since we are only putting root cert in the trust store, is it good enough to just check the root certificate's trusted identity in the trust policy? Shui, what do you think? Do we have to put the leave certificate's subject into the trust identity? would a root certificate subject good enough?
That's a good question. I don't think so. We should just put the leave certificate to there. But that's for the internal use. I mean, for example, a company maybe use their internal timestamping server, then they are easy to get the identity of their leave third subject, because the identity is from their own organization. So it's pretty easy. For public ones, I think they can still get the issuer or the subject from a paid or say private timestamping server. But for the free ones, I think the verifier just can choose the global ones, for example, a star for the TSA type, so they don't need to worry about them.
Yeah, we have 16 minutes left, so I would suggest that we continue the discussion of the trust identities offline. So just now, Patrick demoed for the backward compatibility point of view. So the new version of notation, by default, the timestamping verification will be disabled, and the user need to specify a value to enable the enable the timestamping verification. That is one case that Patrick demoed, and we will come back with the trust identity discussion later. Another parameter here is expiry relaxed. So as Patrick explained, so currently there are some there are existing TSA, they use short-lived certificates. So that means during verification, it could be that the CA certificate, the leave certificate that signed the timestamping signature, the certificates were already expired. So that's the reason for this another parameter named the expiry relaxed. So by default, we enforce the checking of the expiry of the TSA certificate. So that means if the TSA certificates expired, the verification will fail. And with this parameter, the expiry checking can be relaxed. So that means if the TSA certificate expires, the timestamping verification can still proceed. And Todi, Sajid, do you have any question on on another parameter expiry relaxed? Do you have any comments?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
Thanks.
I was hoping we could align with the signature verification levels instead of enabled false. So if you can do something like level is skipped or strict or something like that, but that's okay. That's just a usability update. We can take that along with the PR.
Okay.
But I think Shue's point of splitting the CAs for TSA and for code signing is probably important here. That'll, I think, Pritesh also needs to look at that.
Yeah. For that, we need to continue the discussions. Okay. I would like to park the discussion of this the first topic. So Vani, could you also ask Pradesh later to see the PR that Patrick proposed with these changes, and also maybe Pritesh can also check the recording for what we just discussed.
Yeah,
I think this is quite important. We need
yeah,
to further align.
I was also making some notes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks, Wani. Then let's move to the next topic. Next one is from Feynman about the error handling and the message guidelines. Feynman, over to you. Do you want to drive the discussion?
Yeah, actually for the second topic, quotation error message improvement, the related pull request and issues were expected to have reviews and opinions from Pritesh. Pritesh is not joined, so I will give a quick overview, a quick walkthrough to the current status and the next step. If I can share my screen and just 1 or 2 minutes to finalize the discussion and see what are actionable items for next step.
Yeah, thanks, Feynman. I think you can give a brief description since Toddy and Sajay Wani are also joined. So later we can pin Pritesh for additional comments. As Wani posted in the chat that Pritesh will be back. Is now on vacation, so probably be back on 24th.
Okay. So as you may remember that I had a PR, I had a pull request to articulate what are the conventions for writing a good error messages and some examples attached in this link in this document. This document is actually a guideline for writing a good message, error message for different cases, and we have some guiding principles listed in this spec. This has been reviewed several times by Notary Project maintainers, and at this moment, I think we will need to resolve the remaining comments, especially from Pritesh. We have different opinions on should we keep the documentation links in the error message for further troubleshooting purposes. So I think this is one of the comments that we need to address after Pritesh is back. Meanwhile, I also created separate issues, and there's another document that lists some suggested changes for existing error messages. So I listed some cases here in a separate document. I didn't put those cases and the suggested changes in another GitHub issue because I will need more reviews on this stock. This is just my advice for those error messages, but it doesn't mean all of those suggested changes are the final results or the final changes that we need to apply to the notation v1.2. So before we make the changes to notation CLI repo, I think we can review on this page, on this doc. You know, if I put the cases and suggested changes in the issue, it may not be convenient for review. So I put it here for a convenient review experience. So I would expect that maintainers can take a look at this document, and I will continuously add more cases and test against some corner cases here and add more cases here. We target notation v1.2 to improve all of those potential error messages and also make sure all of those new functionalities and their error messages are following the guideline, the error message handling guideline. This is the current status, and so next step, I will expect notation maintainers as well as Pritesh to help take a look at this pull request. If we have this pull request merged, I think we aligned with the conventions and the guideline. So I think for other error messages, we can follow the same conventions to improve them. Okay, I will stop my sharing. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to comment in this PR.
Thanks, Feynman. Did you share the hack markdown
Document?
file somewhere?
Yeah. The document is actually in the description of the pull request.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I will stop my sharing and back to the agenda.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Wani, maybe you can also later bring this PR to Pradesh attention because he had some comments and we needed to get alignment on that.
Sure, yeah, I was looking at it.
Thanks. The next topic is about the schedule on the security audit is also from Feynman.
Yeah, I think this question is for Vani and Pritesh. So as you may receive the email, the schedule from Amir, who changed the schedule, the next meeting of the security audit to May 3rd, right? That schedule may not work for people in China because we will have a public holiday, and we will have a public holiday from May 1st to May 5th. That means we will not be available at that period. So we want to reschedule that meeting from May 3rd to May 30th, sorry.
Yeah.
Just make sure we can agree
that's a
on the
Monday.
new schedule. It's actually, I think it's Thursday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, and it's at the end of next month.
30th.
And if
okay, yeah.
30 is not 13. It's 30.
30.
May
It's
30.
Thursday.
Yeah.
May 30 is Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's Thursday.
Mhm.
It's Thursday morning in your time. And if everything goes well, I think by May 13, we should have the notation v1.2 released. So I think at that time, it would be much efficient that the Security Audit Institute may have some opinions on how can they conduct the security audit, because we have something that can be reviewed, can be audited at that time. So I think it might be much reasonable to postpone the review meeting to the end of next month. If we agree on the new schedule, I think we can reply to Amir's email and propose the schedule to him.
Yeah, I think this time we also need Pradesh to confirm when he is back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we already discussed the fourth topic about reviewing the contributor letter, PR. So I think this PR is also I think it's also important for James' nomination, because this PR describes how someone want to contribute in the Notary project community, how he or she can start, and gradually how to become org maintainers. So yeah, I'm asking maintainers, especially org maintainers, to review this PR. I would skip the last one because we also expect Pradesh to review to triage the issue together. Otherwise, we need to another additional sync up with Pradesh again. So yeah, I would like to skip the last topic for today's meeting. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. So as a summary, I think we need to follow up what we discussed for the trust identities for the TSA, and may update the trust policy specification PR accordingly. And Wally, please.
Hey, did you?
Ask Pradesh to maybe so review the PR that Patrick created. I also need Pradesh to do another round of need Pradesh to confirm so that we can, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Wani, please.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I think that's all for today's meeting.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Yi.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, both. Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.